Hey guys, so quick update. I should probably turn that off. I had a meeting with my future boss. Well, he's my boss now, actually. This morning, that went pretty well. He's really sympathetic about my situation, kind of running the school by myself and trying to learn programming and um, kind of going through the onboarding process with him. So basically, it's going to work out. Starting October 1st US time, which is the 2nd over here, I'm going to start working 20 hours a week, covering some spots he needs covered. And that will last for about a month. Well, actually, it'll probably continue until I've sold the school. So he's been just so flexible. Basically, I'll be working half time for him for half the salary, which is fine with me. It's a good way to kind of ease into it. And then after the initial 2 weeks, I will go through an assessment and just to see how I like it and how he likes me doing it. And then based on that, it should go pretty well. I think it's mostly just a formality. He just wants to make sure that whoever he's bringing on is actually, somewhat enjoying the job as much as we can, one's job, and then also that they're a good fit and that both parties are happy. So from there, I'll make the official announcement, list my school for sale. I may reach out to one particular party initially just to see if they're interested, because it would be nice to get the process started sooner than later. I'm not sure. I've never done anything like this before, but I would think if sorry about that truck. If someone is interested, like you tell them today, and they're like, "I want to buy it," it shouldn't take more than a month. I imagine you could probably do it in 2 or 3 weeks. As I've mentioned in other videos, the biggest timing issues are informing the students and parents, and then coming up with a kind of exit plan in terms of making sure they get to meet all the students, understand how the billing works, changing over things like the electricity and water and parking, and of course I need to clear it with my landlord. Unfortunately, I don't own this location. I think they should be okay with it. It's really not going to be any big change as far as they're concerned. They don't really do like anything at all ever. So there's also the issue if they want to keep the rent the same or raise it and so on and so forth. So I'll need to try to get that information today. Kind of just phrase it carefully. I don't want to mention that I'm actually selling it. I'm just going to say it looks like I'm taking on this job. Would it be okay with you if someone else took over the school, and then find out if it's okay to keep rent the same or not, and then get things rolling. Hopefully, the other issue is I don't think it'll be much of an issue, but hopefully the person I'm renting my parking spots from will be fine with someone just taking them over. I don't think it's very likely, but it may be that he has some people waiting, like, hey, can we, I'll pay you double or something. So that's one of the issues when you don't have ownership over all of your assets. Like it's a great location, awesome, still fairly good condition school, really. And I've got 3 parking spots, which is like amazing for this area. Recently, things have really gotten like there's a few more places have opened. There's a real estate agent guy here, and then a dentist down the street. So the parking lot I'm renting is actually full now. All the spots are taken. When I first started, I think there were like 5 spots open, and I rented 2 because I was coming by bicycle every day. It was really like bare bones type of just-in-time type of planning for everything. And then I think it was after a year or so, I decided to rent another parking spot because there were 1 or 2 times where I didn't have room for everybody. But for the most part, 3 has been okay. There's been, I think, 1 instance where my brother-in-law took a spot without telling me, and this Oba-chan, an older lady, like had to like park almost on the sidewalk. And I was like, hey, can you like ask before you use my parking spots? It's just kind of normal during business hours. Someone might actually need them that's not you. And then the one time, actually, I was parked here, and I had like 3 minutes before our class started, and then this mom who almost always just drops her kids off and goes, like 99% of the time, and that day wanted to stay and talk with one of the other moms, and I had to Actually, she just drove home real quick and walked back because they live in walking distance. So one of those things. Either way, I've got a plan B, which is awesome. The logistics of getting out of here shouldn't be too complicated. I don't think my landlord is going to want to refuse someone else coming in here because the wife is actually a local city official and she's very tied to the community. And at the moment, actually, I'm not going to use Excel anymore. It's really annoying. Google Docs. I'm getting close to 60 students again. I've got this mom who's actually coming here to classes. Her daughter has been coming, I think, for 2 or 3 years, and she just approached me one day and said, "Hey, I'd like to take English lessons." And I just thought, well, it's kind of this weird, like, sometimes it's like that, but it's like they have these, it's like, it can be weird, but turns out she's super serious, actually pretty high level, and she knows about this student discount I offer for people who introduce new students. And so she, in the past 2 months, so 4 kids are definitely signed. There's one more that's going to come in for another trial lesson. They're all siblings, 2 families, and she will likely sign this Saturday. She's coming in tomorrow, and then she just messaged me today with another kid she wants to introduce. So that's 6 kids from one mom. It's amazing to think what would happen if all the moms were like that. So that's helpful. So what am I at now? Let's see, 51. Actually, that lady is no longer active. Okay, well, let me think. I'm getting close to like mid-50s, not quite the 60s. So, and a lot of those people are very local. They're kids who live in the area, or they're, mostly kids actually. I have very few adult students, just a handful. So if they were to get all weird and controlling and emotional, my landlord, the couple that runs the place, and just like decide to close the school or something, it would really come back on them. Like, why did you do that? So I do have some leverage there, which is good. I kind of had a run-in with the husband a few earlier this month. I don't want to get into the details, but I had to confront him about something very disrespectful and not okay that involved my anyways. That did not go over well. It really put a kind of bad taste in everyone's mouth, and I think he kind of regrets it because I didn't let the issue go. I was just kind of like, actually, this is what happened, and that's really not okay, and so on and so forth. So yeah, originally before we actually talked, I messaged him about it, and he just said like, I have to apologize, or he gave me like an ultimatum, like I have to apologize by the weekend, and if I don't, I have to get out after this month, and the relationship is over, which is a little weird, So obviously that gave me the motivation to just stand my ground and just say like, what are you doing, and really, really messy, complicated stuff. So all it's really done is just increase my motivation to get the heck out of here. Stay in your comfort zone for too long, life passes you by, especially here in Japan. It's really weird. It's just like this place of like everyone finds their spot, and then it's like that's it. It's very unusual for people to change jobs or really try anything new. I don't know what it is. It's just the culture, I think. It's the result of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years of people just being controlled by the culture. Not always a bad thing, don't get me wrong. Because it is so stable, people for a lot of them, they have a very strong sense of well-being, and they're kind of happy to be where they are. So, for the most part. For those that aren't, it's really a pretty tough situation. Anyways, that leads all into the world of the psychology of the Japanese mind and whatnot. It's very much studied but little understood subject. Anyways, yeah, I just want to throw an update out there, and that is that.